And as I tell my son, he's now all into vibe coding. I said, dude, first figure out your basics, get into Python, learn some data structures and object oriented principles of object oriented programming, and then you're welcome to dive into vibe coding and do the things the modern way, right? So similarly, very similarly, getting that diverse background into how things actually work, how infrastructure, and getting that rolling out things at scale and not losing sight on performance, and then moving into infrastructure as a service and platform as a service, right? I've also seen days when even on-prem people were rolling out platform as a service through OpenStack, right? Infrastructure and platform as a service, which is sort of the promise was to bring a sort of like a hosted private cloud with a similar experience as or automation, as AWS was promising at that point in time, right? But eventually, if you have to really do things at scale securely, without compromising security and user experience, cloud is the way to go. And under the hood, it is all those basic fundamentals that you've learned across the stack, as I put it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, like everything in the cloud is a totally different scale. I mean, it's hard to even think about that. Like in cloud security, it kind of started for a brief stint with like vulnerability management, right? And then everyone kind of started to realize like, oh wait, like these vulnerabilities don't really matter if the entire network is configured wrong. And so like that's where kind of like the idea of CSPMs came in and started to like augment that, right? And now in cloud security, I mean, there's so many acronyms, I barely even keep up. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'm like a cloud security guy, like through and through. It's what I do for my day job, which is probably bad. Someone hearing is like the director of cloud security is not keeping up with acronyms. It's like, okay, well, they're coming up with acronyms for stuff that already exists. So tell me what it is, and I promise I already know it, that sort of thing, right? But
Absolutely.
with the advent of the cloud and the expansiveness of the environment, it feels like data security is a significant problem
Hmm.
that we haven't really seen before. I mean, I'm trying to think, right? So, like back when everything was mostly just on prem or
Hmm.
in a remote data center or whatever, like there was limits to how much data you would have. There was limits. Like you were smarter with it. You weren't just collecting every single thing. You were collecting what you needed, and the rest of it you were disposing of, hopefully in a secure manner, right? And then the people that are dealing with petabytes and exabytes of data, that was like Google. It was, a handful of firms, right? And I'll give you an example, right? Like I was talking with a company just a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about data security. And I asked them, all right, like how much data do you actually have? Do you know? And they told me petabytes of data. And I remember like it kind of set me back because back in 2014, I was talking with like wasn't a threat intel company. It was like a threat intel company before the federal government.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they were talking about having issues with storing petabytes of data and having it rapidly accessible. And now this random medical company is saying that, oh, yeah, we have several petabytes of data. Like it's just another day, like, of course.